That is crazy. That is terrorism and that is fascism.
I'm not going to let my officers and agents go out there and put their lives on the line and their family on the line because people don't like what immigration enforcement is.
The latest on a controversial ICE raid at a South Park restaurant, which is expected to reopen today.
We'll figure it out, but it's painful.
The tariff hike that took effect overnight.
If I was like going on a bike without a straight line, I would be like, woo!
These freshly painted yellow lines on the Mission Beach boardwalk are turning heads for all the wrong reasons. We'll tell you why people are doing a double take.
It's important when they're in rehab that they stay wild.
He's the youngest bear cub ever cared for at Project Wildlife in Ramona. I'll show you how he's doing and the creative techniques employees are using.
It's 6 a.m. on Wednesday, June 4th, and you're up with CBS 8. And we do begin with breaking news this morning. A SIG alert is in effect right now following a deadly crash on the bridge that connects Barrio Logan to downtown. Harbor Drive from Cesar Chavez Parkway to Park Boulevard is expected to be closed in both directions for the next hour.
And you're seeing why right here. This crash, pretty serious, happened just after 2 this morning. San Diego police say a 24-year-old man drove through road closure barriers and crashed into that forklift. The driver died at the scene. San Diego police say 2 passengers were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. You see all the damage to that white pickup there. You are asked to avoid that area right now. Thanks for joining us here at 6:01 right now. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Chris Grove. For those of you that are waking up, taking a look outside, you might see some moisture there on the ground after feeling it in the air all day yesterday. But we had all different types of precipitation.
Yeah, I mean, you could hear it. There was thunder out there.
Yeah, and then there were, of course, a handful of spots that saw absolutely nothing at all. So it was quite a mixed bag of precipitation, as we call it. There was rain, there were thunderstorms, there was hail, there was wind, but it abnormally affected North County and mainly our North County mountains. Take a look at satellite radar over the last 5 hours. It's been pretty inactive over the last hour or two. You can see all around Lake Havasu, there were a few showers and thunderstorms to contend with. I want to run this back to yesterday afternoon, though, so you can see what we saw. Look at all those thunderstorms, that lightning, that thunder, making its way right around the San Diego-Orange County border. So what we're going to be watching for over the next several hours is a continuation of overcast skies, humidity staying high, maybe a few afternoon showers. But coming up, we'll talk about what we saw yesterday and whether or not it's going to compare in any way to what we have in store for today. Back to you.
Thank you, Evan. Buena Forqueta in South Park is set to reopen today after being closed down the last 2 days.
Federal agents raided the Italian restaurant on Friday following claims of employees using fraudulent green cards. CBS 8's Regina Yarita live in South Park with more reaction from local and federal officials on this here. Regina?
Yeah, hey, good morning, guys. That's right. And there's been lots of attention on this recent ICE raid, but also on what local leaders have responded to what all of this happened or how all of this happened. We're right outside of Buena Forqueta. We know that they did say that Monday and Tuesday it was going to be closed. It could open today, but you could see just the signs of support from community members saying we love Buena Forqueta. We support the immigrant community. There's flowers out here. But this morning, we're learning more about what led up to this immigration raid that happened last Friday. There's search warrants obtained by CBS 8 that reveal the immigration raid stemmed from a tip of federal authorities back in 2020. The tip claimed Buena Forqueta allegedly employed undocumented immigrants, and it also claimed that the restaurant's owner mistreated the employees by making them work shifts longer than 12 hours with no breaks and verbally abused them. So in January of this year, federal officials received a follow-up tip. HSI ordered the owner of the restaurant to turn over documentation on its workers. The warrant says 19 employees submitted false documents to the government, including counterfeit green cards. Investigators identified 7 of the employees, all of them with histories of immigration violations, but they do not have a violent criminal record. On Friday, as the raid unfolded in the middle of rush hour, the community protested against what they were witnessing. San Diego City Council member Sean Elo Rivera didn't stay quiet about the raid. He posted a screenshot of ICE agents criticizing their tactics. Take a listen.
Masked, armed troops into a neighborhood with high-grade military weapons for fake papers. The suspicion of fake papers, that is crazy. That is terrorism and that is fascism.
And we spoke with Councilmember Sean Elo Rivera in the middle of a protest that happened yesterday. But we do know that the acting director of the agency of ICE, I should say, did defend the tactics of his ICE agents. We'll have that in the next half hour. But for now, Chris and Eric, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Regina. And new this morning, the Trump administration is considering a regulation that would prevent most asylum seekers from getting work permits. Two Homeland Security officials told CBS News the proposal would put an indefinite pause on a decades-old policy of allowing migrants with pending asylum claims to work in the country lawfully while waiting on their cases to be heard. It would also require them to wait 1 year instead of 6 months after they file their application to be eligible for a work permit. And also new this morning, President Donald Trump's tariffs on foreign steel and aluminum doubled to 50% overnight. President Trump says encouraging domestic production of those metals is a matter of national security. But a trade group called the Can Manufacturers Institute warns this could raise prices at grocery stores. The White House also says it wants countries to submit their best offers for trade deals by today. The 90-day pause on so-called reciprocal tariffs is set to end July 9th.
Starting next month, the city of San Diego will start charging private insurers more for ambulance service. The city council just approved 3 increases over the next 3 years, starting July 1st. Right now, the city charges insurers more than $3,100 per trip. That will increase to more than $3,700 by 2028. The increase will put San Diego more in line with what is charged by other cities in the county. This decision will not impact Medi-Cal or Medicare fees. National City is taking a step toward regulating short-term vacation rentals. Yesterday, the City Council sent a draft ordinance back for revisions and set a community forum for July. Currently, there are no regulations to oversee the approximately 200 short-term rentals in National City. Under the proposed ordinance, owners would have to apply and be limited to 1 permit and pay a transient occupancy tax. Quiet hours would be established between 10 p.m. and 9 a.m., and renters would be asked to avoid street parking. Residents say these rentals have created quality of life issues like noisy parties, lack of parking, and in some cases an uptick in illicit activity like prostitution.
Lawlessness, we need a policy. I am not in any rush to go into an ordinance that is not appropriate for our city.
The council will likely vote on this in August.
And this morning, voters can now drop off ballots for the District 1 County Supervisor race. 29 official ballot drop boxes opened yesterday. The election between Chula Vista Mayor John McCann and Imperial Beach Mayor Paloma Aguirre is set to fill the seat left vacant by Nora Vargas. Whomever is elected will finish the rest of the term, which ends in January of 2029. The last day to vote is July 1st. And today, the San Diego Unified School District's summer meal program will kick off. The program provides free nutrition to any child ages 18 and under, regardless of school enrollment. The district says nearly 1 in 3 children in San Diego County face food insecurity. More than 70 schools, libraries, parks, and community centers will participate in the program. It will run through August 1st. Visit the Sandy Coast Cafe website for a complete list of meal site locations and serving times.
All right, quite a bit of weather we experienced overnight. Some of you heard thunder, saw lightning, got that rain. I was woken up by the rain.
Yeah, it was an active evening and overnight stretch. Now it's very mild, just overcast skies, very similar to what we saw yesterday morning, which was maybe some mist and drizzle out there that we will be working with. But aside from that, there's not a lot to contend with for this morning stretch. By the afternoon, we could see just a few more pop-up showers and maybe a thunderstorm or 2 over local mountains. None of it looks to be nearly as intense as what we saw yesterday, but the same areas that were affected yesterday should be prepared for the possibility of a repeat today. Along the coastline, San Diego itself, overcast skies remain. It's not a big surprise considering we have high humidity out there. We have a dense marine layer stretching onshore. So it is going to be one of those days, yet again, very similar to yesterday, almost identical, where that cloud cover hangs on at least through the noon hour. There's some hope that into the about 2-3 p.m. stretch, we might see a little bit of sun, but very similar to yesterday, it's doubtful. 68 degrees seems to be around that high along the coast. Most other spots of the county, inland and toward the mountains, will make it into the 70s. Here's another live look outside. It is a pretty comfortable, mild start to the morning, considering our temperatures are in the upper 50s and low 60s. And sunrise was at 5:41, but of course a very gray start to the morning out there, so you don't see much of the sunrise. Sunset not coming until 7:54. Take a look at your rain chances between now and the middle of next week. A lot of these models are favoring a much smaller chance for anything to pop up today or tomorrow. I will say there are some spots of the county where that chance for today gets up to about 15% maybe, but still nothing too generous. Out the door right now, primarily you've got 50s and 60s. Again, quite comfortable, but it is humid. Let's check in on traffic, see how your roads are so far this morning. I want to take you to a stalled vehicle that just popped up, but before we do that, let's point out the yellow that you see up on your screen around Escondido and Ramona. A little bit of fog to start off the morning, so there is a chance that some of our inland valleys see that thick layer of fog, and that could impact your morning commute. You want to slow down your speeds this morning where you see it and where you see the possibility of maybe some drizzle as well. When we look at one incident that we see here, this is at the 805 where it meets the 54. Looks like there is an obstruction with a stalled vehicle there on the shoulder. Back to you. Oh, let's take a look at your reported wait times. 135-minute wait at the San Ysidro Port of Entry. Otay Mesa Port of Entry is 75 minutes.